We want to cover in this video the wiring of the DC power supply, the switch handle, and the DO3 valve. You'll note if you have an older machine that we used a transformer with a rectifier, and we'll cover that video in a later date. But for now, this is the most up-to-date. We replaced the transformer rectifier many years ago. You'll have a power supply that's either cream color like this one or a green power supply. The positive negative for the 24 volts output is located at the left side on the top. In this example, on the bottom left of the green module. But both work the same way. We take and split the power, the 24 volts of DC power, one side going to the switch handle, the other side going to the DO3 valve. It doesn't matter which positive or negative goes where, so don't get confused if this has got wires going in two different directions. It doesn't matter. The point being is one of these wires goes out toward the switch handle. It is jumpered across the switches, and we bring back the other two colors, in this example orange and blue, and they are wire tied to the cord going to the DO3 valve. Along with the other half of DC power, in this example yellow, they travel to the front of the machine and go into the DO3 valve, or are connected with what are called DIN connector spades, and that's what provides the power to the DO3 valve to make the shear head cut up and down. So as this travels out to the 2-button switch handle, if there's a sever in the white or yellow wire and there's no power going out there, then you won't have any action in the shear head. If only one of the other two wires is cut, then you may have up or down, but not both. So if you have a good switch, and we've covered that in another video, if you've got a good switch, then more than likely the wire could be severed and you just need to replace the wire. But then wiring it correctly is the most important part to make sure that the wires go in the right spot. So split the DC power, one side going to the other, and one side going, of course, to the outs of the switches, the other side going to the DO3 valve, and then a wire nut connection here in the box for the other two colors. The DO3 valve is wired, as you see, with the yellow wire coming into the valve and connecting to the terminal that is jumped, and the jumper can either be a jumper from the factory or one that we put in. It will be any color wire. It could be yellow, could be green, could be black, but it's jumpered across there. And then the other two wires connect to the other side of the DO3 valve, and this is what completes the circuit from the switches. So one of this, the top one is always going to be jumpered. We'll have the white or yellow wire. The bottom two will either be orange and blue or black and green. Nothing goes to ground. We're just using the green wire as a wire so that we can complete the circuit. The other DO3 valve that we have used over the years has the DIN connectors, and the DIN connectors are wired the same way, but we have to do the jumper with a wire itself because there's no box or no conduit box here to actually put the wires into. So we jumper the wire with the simple double connection on one side and send it over to the other side, and that gives us our white wire connected to both sides of the solenoid. In this example, of course, you see green and black, which is the colors we used to use, black being one motion, green being the other motion, whether they be up and down. And after you've connected the wires and so forth, if the head responds opposite to what it used to, the simple solution to making it go the way the buttons are is to switch the black and green wires, and it will go opposite of what it was going by just switching those wires. And in the other DO3 valve, that's simply done at the screws, and on this DO3 valve you just take it off of the spade connectors carefully so you don't pull the wires out of them, and reconnect them to the other side. Now when it comes to the switch handle, as you see, we bring the white wire up and connect it to the lower part of the switch. And if you look at this, you'll see that there's a jumper that goes across and jumps over to the other side or the other switch. And we do this so that both switches get DC negative or positive, and then the green and black wire in this instance are the ones that go back to the box and are then wire connected or wire nut connected to the same colors that go out to the DO3 valve. So hopefully this helps you understand why we did what we did and how it's wired. White wire to the switch handle, jumped over to the two switches, back to the switch or the electrical box where it's wire nutted to the same colors. Then it picks up the other side of the DC power supply and goes out to the DO3 valve, where the DO3 valve receives one half of the circuit from the DC power supply, and then of course the other half of the circuit comes from the actual buttons themselves to complete the circuit. Hopefully this helps out in any diagnosis. If you have any questions, certainly give us a call. We'll help walk you through this thing, but hopefully this video covers it for you and you can successfully repair your machine.